taking over, that's a promise, not a threat.
Uppercut season off top, you stop breathing.
Yeah, what's good, son? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk, where, as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. I'm your host for tonight, Pat Scorpio, the New England representative. And as always, I got my man with me. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Hey, yo, what it do, y'all? I'm not even going to play him like that. You already know who it is. Your boy, King P, Bodega Box in the building. Ring Gang Radio all day. Let's go. Who's banned? One, them fucking referees that fuck Shocky Foster. Them motherfuckers got to get banned, like, forever. Like, that was the most egregious fucking scorecards I ever seen in my life. So y'all are out of here. And then second of all is, like, you got to take a break. Even though you won, you crashing out on Twitter. So Shakur, take a break from the fucking bodega. Like, go home and just fucking chill. You want some bullshit right now.
And we'll go more into that though. But he a little young son is crashing out. Someone needs to take this nigga's phone away on some real shit. Like, absolutely. The judges and they need to be sat the fuck down. They need to explain themselves too, because And also I got my other man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey, what's fly? It's Conscious Pilot, the West Coast Avenger, number one contender, preparing for liftoff, Ring and Radio. Let's fly. Trio.
Yes, sir. Conscious Pilot stays elevated above the clouds, you dig? And we operating as a trio. Temporarily, though, Brother LB will probably join us shortly. Whatnot. He's handling some business. But man, as P brought up, man, that's Shakur. He was at the Shakur card. Salute to him and salute to all the footage that he got. By the way, out of all the videos that he got, though, the one that's getting like the most traction is the Shakur post-fight reaction one. That one is that one is just creeping. That one is just going like, geez, like. So I mean, and I guess it just figures out just between that and then and what's going on. What went down in the main event. But before we get into the main event, though, obviously, there's just touch upon a couple of things on the undercard that need to be touched upon. Number one, Abdullah Mason. Abdullah Mason is probably the future. That is a future.
He is. I think he is.
Yeah, he's a future. He's a future world champion, future pound for pound, like superstar. Like that's a young legend in the making. And usually, I don't say shit like that very lightly.
If his chin holds up, because I remember I said I was thought LeBron would have given him some resistance, but goddamn.
And that's what we put respect on. Yeah, because even on my parlay, I put respect on LeBron, but Mason will beat him, but it'll be on the distance. It'll be by decision or some shit like that. I didn't even do a money line or a KO prediction, even though my soul was telling me to do it. But I was putting respect on LeBron, but. Mason, pretty much is like, okay, like, what, Mason, he fought like he had something to do, so he got rid of Duke brutally. That's LeBron's first KO loss, and he's been in with some good guys. The other LeBron, Henry LeBron, Duke Reagan, Tapia,
he's a veteran. That's why I was, that was one of the fights I was looking forward to. It still was a good fight, for different reasons, but it was dominant shit. Yeah.
He gives these guys. He gave all his losses. He gave these guys tough fights. So, but just to see, and Abdullah, he's not even 20. Is he 20 or?
I think he's 20.
He's 20.
Pretty recently, though. Pretty recently.
Yeah. He's 20, and he fights. And the way he fights right now, he fights beyond, that's more mature beyond his years. And I don't say that with young fighters. Come on there, but. Yeah, but he's the absolute one. I know they say Carmel Motan like that. No, Motan does not have not even the type of potential that I see in Abdullah Mason. I've always got.
Especially because I've said it before. He has the same exact measurements in terms of height and reach as Ennis and Crawford. Exact same height and reach. I saw him stand next to Shakur. A picture. He kind of semi-dwarf Shakur. So it's like, if his chin holds up, he might be the one. Maybe. We'll see. But
we'll see.
He's fighting next month on the Billy card.
He is. And then P, I know you were there. You got the interview with him. So what were your actual thoughts about, like, obviously as you were talking to him and stuff like that? And what'd you think of his performance?
I thought that Abdullah's performance was great. I mean, he went above and beyond. He even Abdullah himself was surprised because he thought that that LeBron would be more durable than he was, and he just bombed him out of there. Like by the second round, his nose was already fucking leaking and shit like that. Like he went like he looked like he went through a 10-rounder after 2 rounds. So he was just happy. He was happy with the performance. And yeah, that's really, there's really not much to say. It was short and sweet. He promised that he would have fireworks, and he did. So he did exactly what he said he would.
Absolutely, that was a star make. And then because if you watch Abdullah had been mostly largely on the prelims, but Top Rank made the decision to bump him up into the main card, and that proved to be probably a great decision by them because. That performance had boxing Twitter buzzing for a little bit. Like
he got the call up and he answered it.
Yeah, exactly. Bars, like that's straight up bars. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward for Abdullah Mason fighting. As you said, he says fighting next month, right?
Yeah, he's fighting on the Mbili card.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's actually the first Canadian Top Rank ESPN card that I'm actually intrigued in because they actually kind of semi-stacking it, you could say, because every time I watch them shits, it's always super can crushing, bro. But this one has potential a little bit. It has it
does. Jahai Tucker's on there, Abdullah Mason, Makhmadov, and Guido Vianello, which is pretty much like that's like a loser leaves town type of fight.
I think that Cuban, the 168 Cuban Iglesias, the one that gave the guy a seizure.
Yep, he's on there, but yeah, he's TBA. Yeah, that's good. If that was in Montreal instead of Quebec City, I probably was like, you know what? Let me try to make moves up there to watch. Like, because Quebec City is a little bit farther north from Montreal. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get to. But we'll see. Never say never. But you're right, though. And salute John's Dada. I see you in there. Salute to the crew. Salute. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, man. Yeah, Abdullah Mason. And then Keyshawn Davis. Like I said, Keyshawn Davis put on a good performance against a guy that, at times, like, the fight was just dirty. And it was brutal, dirty, all types of stuff, like rough.
A lot of rabbit punching by Madueno. I felt like a lot of
because he was frustrated, and it looked like he was trying to find a way out of the fight.
I ain't gonna lie, Keyshawn at first. The first round or two, Keyshawn, he kind of figured it out. I felt like because that was a good experience for him because it was like a guy like Claggett that comes forward and it was rough, it just kept coming. For the first 3 or 4 rounds, it looked like, okay, this is competitive, but then Keyshawn kind of just took over, You didn't stop him.
That shit was a wrestle fest. That shit was ugly to watch.
How was the reception? How was it? Because I'm hearing people in the crowd, saying that they, people that were at the fight said that the crowd was pretty live for it. So, like, how was it?
They were kind of, there was a lot of boos there. Not with that fight in particular, but like, and even then, like and later on in the fight, there was a lot of boos. So. They were just tired of the dirtiness and the roughhousing tactics. Like that shit was not fun to watch at the end. They were scrapping. They were scrapping at points, but then it was just like, it got a little too much.
Right, and it was surprising to me that they actually showed sportsmanship at the end because I thought usually after a fight like that, I'd be thinking dudes would have to be separated by their cornerman or the ref or somebody like that. Instead, they kind of hugged it out, and I'm just like, and that kind of had me scratch my head. It's like, how you fight that fucking rough, but you actually hugging it out at the end? That shit don't make no damn sense, But yeah, I guess what it is, but at least Keyshawn. I know Keyshawn has been talking the knockout, and Madueno, showed a pretty good fucking chin because honestly, because he got hit a lot, So. Let's say, even though he went out and near the end and he tried his best to try to get himself DQ'd and that just shit wasn't just happening. So, but yeah, let's say Keyshawn, he performed, and then, we had the co-main event, which, as P said earlier, is one of the most egregious robberies I've ever seen. It was no straight up no Vaseline like that. It was so bad.
I hate to say I called it, but I had a feeling. I had a feeling, like they were gonna job, him the way he did.
I mean, because if you look at that fight, like it's at best, Conceição probably maybe won maybe 2 fucking rounds, like at best, like that was like an easy like a 119, 109, 118, 108. 118, 110 type score. It was that type of fight. Maybe a 117, 111 at best, but that's like at best.
Once it took as long as it did for the scorecards to be read, and I already had a feeling that they were gonna, probably just do that to him in a sense, or give him, because. Go ahead, Pilot. I'm sorry. Top-rank scoring this year has been pretty janky in terms of, whether it be gifts or random. Scoring that's weird. It seems like this year it's been top rank, or is that just me? It just seems like it's been a lot of janky scorecards. So I figured, unfortunately, that was going to be the case, so they can feed him the vault, give Robson his feel good moment, and for the Oscar vault, But hopefully, Shaq gets a rematch. He deserves a fucking rematch.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, because I mean, I'm not saying it was the most exciting fight in the world, but it was pretty fucking clear that Foster won that fight, very clear. So that's why I was like saying, so yeah, like when you kind of heard this, like they're taking time to recalculating the scores, then you already knew some fuck shit. Like, did he even try to hide the fuckery? It wasn't like it was a close fight. But they didn't even try to hide the fuckery with this. Like, I was like, are you kidding me? Like the scores for this shit. Hold on, let me bring them up. Yeah, and this was a split decision. So it was basically, one judge gave it to Foster 116-112. And then the other judges gave it to Conceição 116-112 and 115-113, which is horseshit. Horseshit. Absolutely not. And I get it, Conceição, he's 35. He's a whole Olympic gold medalist.
Man, he won 2 rounds at best. Wow.
Yeah, of course. Like I get Top Rank this. I think Top Rank.
It doesn't surprise me though, because Conceição is one of those fighters that the way I describe him is, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Well, I guess now it was finally his turn to be made the fucking bride, even when he fucking deserved it the least.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of liken it to. He's, to me, I know I mentioned Akhmadov, Michaela Mayer, and Derevchenko, but in a similar sense, Robson's the same way. Like, he fights, he's a drawish fighter. He fights. I know that was a gift for him, but he fights sometimes with the activity and everything to make fights closer than, makes fights close. I don't know. That's just kind of his style, I feel like.
I mean, his style, and like in the Valdez fight, like he was whooping on Valdez, and then he kind of like went into the tank in the second half of the fight, allowing Valdez to come back. And it was like, you couldn't even say that was a robbery, because Valdez, he because basically, because it's just like, whatever. And then Shakur obviously beat the shit out of him. So that was, the scoring there on that one, it was clear that he lost that one. Navarrete is still his best career performance, because it legit could have went his way to beat Navarrete, and Conceição was down twice in that fight. So that's still his career. But so I guess Top Rank was like, what? Let's take the slick hitting, like boxer, or boxer puncher, and let's just take his belt. And and it's fucked up too, because Foster signed to these guys.
I mean, be real. They signed him. I think P interviewed him last time. They signed O'Shaquie to get the belt off him. That's honestly, I feel like that's why they signed him. Really, unfortunately, and I know he has one more fight with them. Hopefully, Marissa Solomon or WBC does something to mandate a rematch. But I feel like that's the reason why they signed him. So they can get the belt off him. Really. Yeah,
and because Foster for the most, and that's why, because Foster's actually been pretty active for a champion too. Like he won on PBC, he got the belt off Vargas. Then he had to deal with matchroom fuckery, which he would have been robbed blind had he not stopped dude in the final round. And then
the Nova fight was a split decision, and I felt like he won that. He should have. That wasn't a split decision. I felt like, what I mean. It was a close.
Yeah, that was. Even though I'm mad at Foster, because like I said, because I lost out on a big parlay because he didn't stop Nova like I thought he could have. But I'm over that. But yeah, this one, and everyone can see that he was robbed blind. You can see Foster, like you can tell, like Foster could barely control his emotions. He was on the mic, just eyes watery, crying. Like it wasn't right. Like it wasn't right at all. Like like they robbed that young man of just like of his belt for no good fucking reason. So yeah, I'm hoping the WBC. Cause I thought Mauricio was on Twitter talking about they're gonna review the tape. Like, did he ever overturn this shit too? Like, I mean, it seems like they don't. Like
they never do if you don't have steroids or something involved or some shit.
Yeah. It just seems like it's just nothing more than lip service. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll just review it, and then they'll just like, we'll order the rematch, and then the rematch, of course, is the rematch would probably be the final fight on Foster's contract, and truthfully, like, and honestly, if there's a fight that if you're a betting man to say, hey, a knockout should occur, I would probably put it on that fight when it happens, because Foster was ranting and raving. Foster was on Twitter too. Like he was talking about, yeah, like if that happens, like this ain't, he's like, you're not hearing the first bell. So you already know that, Foster's mind state is where it needs to be.
Yeah, that's why I thought he needed the KO, because
yeah,
I predicted the KO for that reason. They're gonna try to rob him. So last fight, you better get a KO, or you're gonna be in pro box or some shit. Unfortunately, after this.
And the funny thing is too, and again, like it just seems like a lot of the judges. I'm not a big fan of technical boxing lately, because I'm just like, I failed to see what Conceso did. I mean,
Robson, real quick. I just want to interject real quick. Robson threw like almost 200 more punches and only not 11%, but the activity sometimes, they can justify it, quote unquote, justify it with the activity, I guess, because he did throw almost 200 more punches.
Yeah, no, but even with used CompuBox side, like Foster's like stats were better and everything. Like, that's why it's just like, what were the judges like looking at? Like, but I mean, honestly, and considering that dude has already been dealing with all this horse shit with with these janky judges, and he's had to escape. He's had to escape from his escape fights with the by knocking it out or whatever. It just sets a really bad precedent. Pete, I mean, you were in the audience, man. So what was the whole reaction like?
First off, that nobody liked that fight anyway. That fight was getting boozed from the fucking 4th round on.
I heard, yep.
Like that shit was so bad that I listen. I legitimately had never heard this before. I had to make sure that I wasn't at the fucking Royal Rumble. Because like in the 12th round, I heard as soon as the buzzer, I heard 10. Motherfuckers is counting down from 10. I was like, and then as soon as it hit 0, they just started cheering. I'm like, am I watching the ball drop? Am I at the Royal Rumble? What the fuck is going on? I literally never seen that or heard that in a boxing match ever before. Mm-hmm. So motherfuckers was just happy that shit was done. And then the funny thing is, I go in the back, so that I could beat the line because they were doing it where after the fight they would immediately bring the fighter back to the backstage for interviews. So right. I went back after the bell to go get a spot so that I'm not too far behind, so I can get a good angle for an interview. And we're literally talking, and the next thing I know is somebody's just like, "Yo, they gave that to Conceição." I'm like, "What?" And I keep hearing it. And I go. And I see Conceição with the belt. I'm like, yo, they fucked Foster. What the fuck? Like, that shit was crazy. Everybody was dumbfounded. So they went from booing because the fight was trash to booing because of the horrible decision.
Yeah, and honestly, like that robbery needs to be in. Honestly, I just wish that there was more smoke for that online. Like, I mean, like as it should be. But obviously, there's other things, unfortunately, that have had boxing Twitter and boxers and other, dignitaries and shit like that, notables in a chokehold, which we'll get into a little bit more a little later on, though. But it's just like I felt for Foster, because I can't imagine working as hard. And obviously, Foster himself has a hell of a life story to even come back from where he was to even being. To be in the road where to even, to have him to win his belts on the road like he did, just to get jobbed out like that by Top Rank is diabolical as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and Conceição, like I said, I mean, I can't fault Conceição. I mean, he did the best that he could. It wasn't like, but basically that belt was a kind of a reward because, okay, you know what, you should have beaten Alvarate. So here, like, we'll get someone who's not as offensively crazy and and just try to which like it's like Pa said, it was a job. It's similar to like Miguel Vasquez signing the PBC, so Mickey Bay can get the belt off him. That type of shit. Like that's how it was, And yeah, it was just disgusting. Like I felt for Foster. I felt for him like deeply. So yeah, I like I said, I hope. Like I mean, they're gonna order the rematch. I'm 100% sure of it. And my parlay, the next parlay that I have with that, I'm putting it on a KO, like a smooth KO, and then hopefully maybe Foster kind of like reevaluates where he needs to go because, yeah, if Top Rank can just job him out like that, anyone can be jobbed out like that. And Top Rank has been making a lot of wild decisions since the pandemic, anyways. Like who they release, who they're trying to release, who they're trying to keep around, like it, Yeah, you can tell like certain fighters hold a special spot for Top Rank. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's just disgusting, and which of course brings us to the main event. With none other than one Mr. Shakur Stevenson, who's been on a rampage lately, and Artem Harutyunyan, who's coming off a very, a spirited performance, on PBC TV last year, narrowly losing to Frank Martin. And I say narrowly because, that fight was close for about 9 rounds, and then, was able to separate himself by I wouldn't say a narrow margin, but a very close margin. So pretty much Artem got this fight. And because there were other fighters that just simply would not fight Shakur. And this is a thing. I know most because Shakur, for the most part, he's gifted. He's gifted with defensive capabilities that you can't really teach. He's a good combination puncher. He's a good body puncher. Like he's incredible, and top of it, he's incredibly hard. Scores incredibly hard to hit clean. Yeah, which was. Yes. Yeah, and then on top of that too, Shakur will fight in the most minimalist style possible. If you don't throw anything, if you can't set a trap on him, if you're not throwing in volume, or you're not throwing any power at him, like if you're not, he'll stay in first gear and box your head off, and that makes him unattractive for people like obviously Frank Martin didn't want that, and then there's a deeper story why he didn't take the fight, but he accepted it and then reneged on it. And then Isaac Cruz wanted no smoke with him, like at all, or Haney for that matter. So it was just basically, he had basically it's like one of those things you have to go down the line to see who would face Shakur at this turnaround. And Artem, I'll say this too, because dude came in there looking like straight up like he was a jeweler or some shit like that. Like he just looked like he was happy to be there. Like his mind state didn't. I don't know about you guys, but he didn't seem like he was ready for war. He was just like, what, I'm hearing this pinstripe suit. Thought he was about to do the Charleston or some shit, and then just and then joking like Shakur couldn't even like pretend to even be mad at him. Like he's just he tried to, and then Shakur's laughing and they're joking around and shit. So I'm like, so already I just see how that shit's gonna go. I'm just like, okay, yeah, they couldn't work up any real any real hatred or anything towards each other. Like it was just what it was. It's like they knew what it was. But as Shakur was actually talking about the whole knockout and everything like that. So so unfortunately that did not happen. Although there was a point in the mid rounds that it looked like it was going to. I think it was like around 6 or 7p, if you want to correct me on that one. it looked like Artem was kind of getting a little shaky.
I believe it was like the 8th round.
You hit him to the body. It was a body shot.
Yeah.
It looked like, and this was Artem. He was taking a steady. I wouldn't say he was getting steadily boxed up. Like it was like Shakur was just he couldn't touch him. Artem couldn't do anything with him. Couldn't cut off the ring. Actually, the funny thing is too is neither of them could cut off the ring on each other, which was the funny part.
I mean, the first half of the fight, Artem. I mean, it was somewhat competitive in the first 3-4 rounds. It felt like somewhat.
Yeah, somewhat.
But I mean, the thing is with Shakur, you can't go nonstop in the build-up saying you're gonna go stop this guy, da 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 da. And even after the rounds, he's talking to he's not even listening to his grandpa/trainer. It's like maybe you should switch to Bomac or something because you're not even listening. Did you see him kept talking back to his trainer and even walking, telling people in the crowd, "I'm gonna stop him." Maybe talking to Tim Bradley, but it's like you can't. It's one thing if you you don't say you're gonna stop this guy and do all this, say all this and not do it. That's why he's getting criticism, and especially you see today in past couple of days his Twitter rant. So it's like there's a reason for the hate. Some people are like, why is he getting overhated? To some degree, yes, but he does have he dug his grave somewhat in that regard.
Yeah, and yes, he did too. But the funny thing is too is he didn't fight in a way that was fake. Now it wasn't like the Del Santos. The Del Santos fight was unacceptable. That was unacceptable even for him. What he did. He was running in that fight. He was not running in this fight. Artem was running a little bit, but the problem was Shakur. One of the few things that Shakur couldn't do was cut off the ring on him to even force a stoppage. Because, like I said, by round 8, Artem should have been up out of there. He was shaky. He should have been up out of there, but Artem was able to get a second wind and then was able to last the fight, and not go down. So it was I'm sure. I heard the boos. I know Pete. They were booing, right? Because I wasn't sure. Make sure I'm tripping.
Oh no, they were definitely booing. I
just want to make sure that my TV wasn't tripping. Because there was some straight up boos for that too, and of course it didn't help because Shakur, had on his trunks Twitterson, because dude be trolling
De Los Santos gave him that nickname, and then he went and he ran with that. I'm like, what the fuck?
I'm pretty sure he probably trademarked that shit too. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like, you know what, you gonna call me that? Hey, fuck it, let me put this shit on my trunks. And what? You know what I'm saying? But what he could have done differently, obviously, he got the decision. It was clear that he won the fight and everything like that. But yeah, the crowd wasn't trying to hear that though. But the funny thing is too is his performance was fine to me, but I get why people were down. I get people would be down on it, because like I said, because Shakur, basically they want Shakur, to turn to some monster puncher. He's not. Shakur is like a 45% puncher, somewhere around there, give or take. I think that number's probably going down a little bit. So it's I think
it's 23 or 22 with 10 knockouts.
Yeah. So. Yeah, he's not, and he's not gonna. He's going up 3 divisions too, so he's not gonna. He's not gonna be like some sort of monster puncher.
The power's not carrying, and I'm not gonna lie. The Yoshino and even the Herring fight were I wouldn't say they're pity stoppages, but they were. You could say the Yoshino one was a little premature. He didn't ice these guys out. I'm saying he didn't ice these guys out. Is what I'm saying.
He beat the shit out of Yoshino though. That one was like.
Yeah.
Herring was a Herring. I'm not saying because it's that went challenge, but Herring was getting, shout out to Jamel Herring, but he was getting his ass whooped in that fight. So it was just only a matter of time that the referee would stop it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it just I don't know if going to lightweight was maybe the right move for him. But clearly he has corner issues. He needs someone. His grandfather. You think he listened to his grandfather, but yeah, because I think it was just when going to court, there was just too much arguing. There wasn't any real, anything like that. Like grandfather would give him advice, and Shakur was like, "I got this. I got this. I got this." Like, no, you don't got this. It's like, and I think that's what everyone's problem is. Like everyone wants Shakur because obviously. At lightweight right now, Shakur versus Tank is probably the best fight you can make outside of, inserting William Zepeda into the mix. So so you get another fight where Shakur doesn't get a stoppage or even a knockdown or anything like that. And people couldn't wait to comment on that because unfortunately, the memes are out there, people falling asleep, and Top Rank did something diabolical because this is Shakur's last fight, contract for the Top Rank. They actually put the cameras in the crowd saying, showing people leaving the arena. This is his hometown arena.
I watched that. I'm like, yo, are all these fans just leaving? It almost felt like a football game where motherfuckers was trying to beat the traffic. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
What was it like for real, P? You were there, like was it really like that in terms of
Yes, motherfuckers was leaving by like the 10th round. I already saw people start like piling out. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, and they showed it on TV. It was mad diabolical. Like, what?
And then he tried to go on Twitter and say, "Oh, Top Rank paid people to." Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's some unfortunately that's BS because I've been to a couple Shakur fights, including one in Newark, and they couldn't, and they were out there, they were out there cheering the ass. So that's why I was just taken aback by them. Seeing them leave like that, and Shakur, the one I went to, Shakur got a stoppage. He got rid of doing 4 rounds or whatever. So it was what it was though. But goddamn, Jersey, that's your hometown fighter. He's not staking it up. This one is not the De Los Santos fight. He still beat dude up. He won the fight. So that shit was just foul just to watch that, and then Top Rank just. The camera just lingering on it, so it was just that shit wasn't a good look. It's that's what we think of Shakur Stevenson. So this was that was just their little covert way of saying oh, okay, you know what, Shakur, this is the offer we're gonna give you, take it or leave it type of deal. So right now as it stands, Shakur, I think was offered. Was it 5-fight deal, 15 million, something, or 15 million?
3.2 million a year.
Yeah.
If he doesn't take it, I heard that if he doesn't take it and he tries to come back, it's going to be lower the second time around, as usual.
Yeah. I think that's what they did. That's what they did to Teofimo Lopez, and that's why Teofimo to this day, he be throwing shots at Top Rank all the time. Because they kind of because a bad decision is kind of fucking up what he wants to do, and Top Rank was like no.
He's not Crawford. I know Crawford was done wrong, but Crawford was getting KOs, and fans were excited to see him fight. You know what I'm saying? He was not on a KO streak, so it's a little different. I know you're a little bro to Crawford, but you're not Crawford. I'm just saying you're not Terrence.
But here's my thing too. This is a guy who admittedly spars with Crawford, and he says Crawford gives him the business almost every single time that they spar. I would think that sparring with someone like Crawford, Crawford has a mean streak. Crawford has one of the biggest, has one of the top 3 mean streaks in boxing. Yeah. So I would have thought that Shakur would kind of absorb some of that.
Maybe in a sense, maybe it's the opposite. Maybe Crawford fucked him up in sparring, and because there's something with him, he doesn't want to engage with quote unquote power punchers, and maybe he got fucked up in sparring or something, because I don't know, man. I just find it weird. You don't engage with Nakathila. I know you dropped Nakathila, but you didn't stop him. Then after that, 2 prospects, stopped him in 2 rounds respectively, both. So it's something, I don't know, something gives, and I don't know what it is. Maybe Shutter can chime in on that.
Yeah, my man Shutterworth, man, what's happening?
Hey, what's good? What's good?
Yeah, we just talk about. Yeah, we just talk about the aftermath of Shakur right now. We just talk about the various factors with why does he fight the way he does, considering that he spars with Terrence Crawford regularly, and and then obviously how he mentally handles all this shit. Because now of course we all have Twitter. I'm pretty sure people listening, they all have Twitter. They can see Twitter. Shakur going probably more than 24 hours right now. He's
living up to the Twitter shit nickname.
He just quoted me before we started. He quoted me, and I clicked on it, and it deleted. I quoted one of his tweets, and he quoted me, and he literally deleted that quick. But it was some sassy shit. I'm just saying. Damn. Because
I literally just opened up Twitter, and I think the first tweet I see is Ring Gang getting that dude about the Mace tweet. I'm like, damn, they got like 27 likes. So I'm like, okay, y'all think it's putting in work. Like,
yeah.
My bad. I had to take a nap, everyone. I've been up since 4, so I had to take like a quick hour and a half nap before I did this.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, because Ring Gang, like we work a lot. Like I know yesterday, yesterday, because me and Shakur we had a joke yesterday because he was out on a date and I'm over here doing Ring Gang shit like nonstop in the evening, like and usually it's the other way around. So
I was literally about to say that ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and the thing is, like, my dates be still like revolve around boxing. They still be like training dates and shit. Like, but yeah, you know what I mean, switch it up a little bit. But yeah, it seemed like I came in right at the good part. Pause.
Yeah, and for Shakur, going at obviously other boxers, Marcus Brown especially, Ishe Smith, Steve Kim.
What is this like the boxing Infinity Wars?
Pretty much
the running wars.
I know there's Tank. Frank Martin said something. Although Frank Martin has to take several seats because he can't. He needs.
Chill. That nigga could talk because I see the pictures side by side. With how Artem looked after both fights and the Frank Martin fight looked like that nigga been through it, but that Shakur fight, that face is like.
Frank was just knocked unconscious. Shakur actually fried him pretty good. I'm at
the perfect part then because I could talk about that fight because I ain't see that motherfucker, so I could talk about the aftermath. Like, I'll be in the casual shoes today. Before I even start going in, what up, John's daughter? What it do? Salute, nigga. Rob D, what's good? What it do, man? Salute y'all.
And then also, even going at Mace, even before we got on the cast, Mace said something, and then Shakur said something about Mace's career, and then Mace was I think Mace said something back. I'm just trying to see what he said again. I think he was like, he's talking like a nigga from up top, pause, but he's fighting like a nigga from Princeton. Yeah, Mace. No,
I watched it every morning. He basically said he don't want to see Shakur fight again. And shouts out to Cam and Mace because they talk about boxing more than any. They actually have couple of segments.
They do.
They even talked about Carmel. I was shocked. They even mentioned Carmel Moulton. You know what I'm saying? Like, shouts out to them for keeping boxing, in the culture relevant. But he just basically said, what a lot of people think. He's boring. And he don't want to see him. He don't really want to see him fight anymore.
This nigga fight scary, man. I'm just be honest with you, dude. Fight scary, and for that amount of talent, reflexes, athleticism that he shows in his boxing, it's scary. And in that interview where he was talking about getting hit and everything. And you see these clips going around the internet, and he's like, like, nigga, you fucking scary. Like, bro, calm that fuck down. Like, and you know what? And it's crazy because before I started taking a nap, I seen a video. Shout outs to what's his name? Bruce Vane.
He dropped the new one. He dropped the new one finally.
yeah, he dropped the new one. So salute that brother, yo. But he had dropped several videos, but I caught a couple, and one was about Shakur Stevenson, and he made a great point about like, dude runs his mouth like he's Tyson, but he fight like he Lara, and and I had to say it. So salute the dude because he's honestly like, that's a major component of it, because if you talk a certain way, if you extra spicy on the mic and you up here like yeah, but every time niggas hear your part, like, you be having the Silk the Shocker parts of the song and shit, you be bringing the posse cut down, then yeah, niggas is gonna say something. And that's the thing with Shakur Stevenson, like, bro, it's one thing if you're fighting guys that are on your level and you're struggling. Okay, that's different expectations. We'll give you the Brandon Lee treatment or some shit, or the Oscar Valdez treatment. But when you supposed to have got next, and you're like, what? He's a 3-time champion, or 3-weight division champ? Three division, and you're still fighting like it's damn, like this is still fencing class, and you don't sit down. And this is the thing, like, he regressed somehow because he didn't always get this scary. Like, you knew it was in him, but now the scariness is like deplorable. Like, this whole touchy, like, you so quick to them jump back, and it's like, bro, like that's not defense, that's not boxing. Like, look, like if we want to talk about boxing as a complete IQ, complete package, we got to start acknowledging like the other aspects of the game, that, you know, killer instinct, knowing how to finish people off, pause, like the shit like that. Like these niggas up here dancing for 12 rounds and you only landing 11% of your punches. Like, I'm just being hypothetical because I'm sure he didn't land that many punches. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna have niggas like me running their mouth about this shit. Like,
I think he's gotta stop comparing. I mean, I still see all these Floyd comps. Like, you can't be pretty. You can't be money without the pretty. Pause. I'm just saying, like stop that shit. You know, like stop comparing him. You know, he got good defensive skills. You know, he's a talented fighter.
He ain't good. Look, he got good defensive reflexes, but defensive skills, no, we don't know that yet because all his defense consists of jumping back 3 feet.
It's just something weird. Like, he doesn't want to engage. Like, I just feel like the Puerto Rican might, you know, is strong with them. You know what I'm saying? Something is up where I just feel like, why don't you engage with niggas that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
I don't think he got the chin for it. There's something wrong with him, bro. Like, it might be mental. Like, I think, because he even said, like, if I lose, you know, yeah, that guy got to be a bad motherfucker. I'm like, really? Yeah, salute Anthony, y'all got jokes. You order your college football 25 homecoming edition.
That's me, Anthony. I'm in a league, so if you got a PS5, holla at me. I'll get you in the league, bro. So holla at me. We're running.
This is a PS5. Damn, like this, like the Anthony. I'm sorry, this the Shang Tsung type of question too.
Right.
but yeah, I didn't, because look, man, we've been busy this week. I really didn't get a chance to like watch boxing like that. I just saw the Zepeda, and I saw the Ioka fights, which apparently were the best fights of the weekend. So I think I got it right. And I'm not compelled to go back and see a Shakur Stevenson fight. Like everybody, I'm seeing clips of niggas walking out the arena. Motherfuckers is damn napping. Bro, I'm glad I didn't see his fight, because if I would have watched that fight before this podcast, I probably wouldn't be here. I'd probably be like stone cold out.
Yeah, you still would have been sleeping.
Yeah, like, so, you know, shout outs.
And the Tank Shakur thing is funny because I saw someone said, what's the similarity, you know, what's the same thing between Shakur and Tank? And somebody said they both put, they both put their fighters to sleep.
They got just different ways about it. One way of sleeping, you know what I mean? Like, we cheer for that. The other one's like, we so impressed, we don't cheer. We just admire you through dreams. Sleeping and nodding.
I mean, I'll say this though, like with Shakur, the number one too, like someone needs to be the OG and tell him like he doesn't need to be ranting and raving on social media. This is social media is like the devil for boxers. Like years ago, we were talking about boxers need to have a more stronger social media presence. And now fast forward, we see these niggas air out their business
got
like
too much media presence on social media. It's like
they're like
TMI still.
I mean, goddamn. I mean, I know Bob Arum and all that must be cringing when you see nigga this, nigga that. I'm like, yo, because Bob's like, god damn it, like these these fighters are like saying the N word.
I mean, my whole thing is at least is authentic. I get it, but like you gotta if you talk like a rapper, you gotta fight harder than them or something like. Yeah. When it's time to throw hands, you gotta let them go, bro. Like this whole, just getting to the finish line and being happy to damn put everybody to sleep in the seats. Like, nah, you're not gonna make no money like that.
I mean, that's the minimalist boxing. They're talking like that. So, and then I mean, there are also like people like comparing that to Rigo, and and it's I mean, yes, there's definitely that because Rigo. Obviously skilled too, and even before he beat Donaire, he actually was in very watchable fights. Like, dude, they were entertaining. Rigo used to really put hands on people, like really beat the shit out of some people, like seriously. But after the Donaire fight, it just seemed like, because number one, TR, Top Rank buried him because they're like, okay, you beat Donaire like this, what the fuck are we gonna do with you? Like, they put this nigga on HBO Latino. And then afterwards, he was fighting in Japan, where ironically he was having wars in Japan. and then every single time this nigga come back to the States, he won like stinkers, like repeated stinkers. You know.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't really. I kind of took a break about a decade ago, so I wasn't really around for the Rigo fight until the Loma fight. So let me ask y'all real quick: was like I heard Shakur's basically Rigo with the J Prince cosign. Is there any similarities to that?
No, because
Nah,
Rigo
he ain't got the power for it.
Rigo punched above his weight. Like Rigo had power in both hands. Like he.
Yeah,
And that's the frustrating thing. Rigo could if Rigo was a little bit more offensive, Rigo would have been a star. He would have been Casamayor 2.0.
Yeah, but even then, like when you look at his career and Shakur Stevenson career, like I'm to the point because I even thought about it, I was like, damn, like because I was thinking about like, damn, even Chris Bird got more exciting fights than Shakur Stevenson, and he got such a bad rap. But Shakur Stevenson, you can't like he doesn't have any fight as entertaining as damn the David Tua fight or Holyfield fight or
basically the school of Cuban boxing. You know, like that.
Yeah, it's too boring. Like he's more boring than Laura himself.
Yeah, and this is why I keep on saying, like, you know, where if Shakur re-signs with Top Rank, I'm 100% sure like they're making plans to have him come off the belt through somebody. If someone makes it can make it really close, like it won't be as an egregious robbery like what happened to Shaki Foster though, but they will get the belt off him somehow in some way.
Yeah, that's the game. But it's the thing. It takes somebody has to be able to get 4 or 5 rounds from dude. Yeah, and no one seems to be able to do that, and it is really because the footwork speed. Like I'll be honest, if we had a Ricky Hatton in this era, like Shakur Stevenson would be done.
Yeah. Well, because here's the thing, real quick. I mean, I think
maybe even a Brandon Rios if we had him, but we do have a Zepeda this era.
Speaking of that, I was going to say we could segue into that because Shakur did say he's going to call Oscar on. And I'm not trying to give Twitter updates, but he did say he's going to call Oscar, you know, for that fight maybe. But I can also see maybe him like going to Matchroom, you know, Matchroom / the Saudi Arabian shit, you know what I'm saying? Like under Crawford, you know, on Crawford undercard or something for his next fight. Just because if he goes to Matchroom, you know, he really would have to go to 140 because there's nobody Eddie has besides Andy Cruz at 135. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, Shakur. I think the only bargaining chip Shakur has right now is he holds a WBC belt. He
holds a green belt.
Yeah, like he has that belt. So Eddie has been on record saying he wants him, and then Oscar, you know, Oscar hasn't been as crazy, but at least if you went to Golden Boy, Oscar has plenty of Mexican fighters that will stand in front of his ass for Shakur to light up.
And speaking
that's real.
Yeah.
Speaking of one,
we might have to do that.
Let me bring the poll up. Pause real quick since we're on this topic. Real quick, we did do a poll in regard to asking who would win between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda if they were to fight next. That's at Ringing Radio on Twitter. Check us out. But anyways, we got 50, it's really close with 52 votes. We got 52% for Shakur, 52%, 48% for William Zepeda.
And
I voted for Zepeda. What about y'all?
So did I. I voted for Zepeda.
See, I voted for Shakur, but earlier I mentioned that the activity thing with scoring. I don't know if Zepeda could stop him. I wouldn't be honestly shocked because I think something's wrong with Shakur's chin or something. But I voted for Shakur, but Zepeda could win that. Definitely, Zepeda could win that.
Hey, what about
this time we had one of these damn, you know,
I voted
from
for
the
Shakur
hood versus a Mexican fight.
I voted for Shakur, although he would make it a fucking horrible fight, but whatever. I don't think he would engage with Zepeda like that.